Puja, greetings. I am Sunu Satnangasra. Welcome to our early morning ancient Egyptian devotional dedicated to Goddess Net in all her mystic forms, gods and goddesses who are derived from her transcendental essence. The liturgy, which you will be able to see on screen, is recited in the ancient Egyptian language, the Medu Neter. English and Brazilian Portuguese translations is provided for you. You can see these translations on screen directly below the hieroglyphic text transliteration. You are welcome to participate by chanting along in your worship space, home, or wherever you may happen to be during the service. Or you are also welcome to listen quietly in a contemplative mood. Following the devotional, Uwashu in the Kemetic tongue, the recitation of the liturgy and meditation, Uwa in the Kemetic tongue, we will have a brief wisdom, Rek in the Kemetic language, teaching by Sehu Khepera, leader and priest of the Shetau Neter Temple of Net. Before we begin, please remember to mute all devices. We will now begin. Presented on the screen at the moment is a stone-carved depiction of the facing pylons of the Temple of Net from the statue of Hinat. On the left and right sides are the pylons in which one of the symbols of Goddess Net sits atop of a papyrus standard. Her emblem is her two arrows crossed and tied to her shield. This symbolizes the protection and resurrection of the soul within this place. The temple, behind the emblems of Net on both sides, are the flags which mean Neter, divinity. In the center of the pylons at the bottom is the opening to the temple, and above that is a pyramidal structure which symbolizes the four equilateral planes of the universe and the mystic number 4. Above that, at the very top, is the Kao hieroglyph, which means rising. It symbolizes the sun rising between the mountains, the Aket symbol, and for the initiates, the emergence of spirit consciousness. Net Nesima Punater Ine Jedef Nesu Hatati Nater Peri Menket Mert Em Hepsed Neb Em Kai Yeri Hepert SSN and Hepne in I Ren F Jetta Net Nesuma natur emine jedef nesura tepti neperkeu Benket mert hep sed neb enkaim Gary heper tep ssn het ne ina ren f Shetau net nesuma punatur anide jedef nesuma tepti neperkeru Benket mert hep sed neb enkaim Gary Hepertep SSM and Het Nine and I Ren F Cheta Net Nesuma Pu Netter and Jedef Nesu Hatati Neperkeru Menket Mert Hepsed Ned Enkaim Yeri Hepertep SSN and Hedna and I Red F Cheta Duamu Kerefu Benefem Hedu Akuti Anate Chekera Nefer Nebuben Duamu Kerefu Benefem Hedu Akuti Anate Chekera Nefer Nebuben Duamu Kerefu Benefem Hedu Akuti Anate Chekera Nefer Nebuben Duamu Kerefu Benefem Hedu Akuti Anate Chekera Nefer Nebuben Adi Jen Sekert R. Sech Uhu Kef Uhu Nesuti Hatep Neperkenu Lidi Eskau Abamunet Nefer Shepsi Etne Etem
Nesudi hetepnet pikidu. Didies kahua bamune beneficipsi. Hetnet hetep.
Nesudi hatepne perkeru. Didi eska uavamune. Nefershepsi. Etne. Hatep.
Nesudi hetepnet pikidu. Didies kahua bamune beneficipsi. Hetnet hetep.
Nesudi hatepne perkeru. Didi eska uavamune. Nefershepsi. Etne. Hatep.
Nesudi hetepnet pikidu. Didies kahua bamune beneficipsi. Hetnet hetep.
Nesudi hatepne perkeru. Vidi eskau avamune. Nefershepsi. Etne. Hatep.
Nesudi hetepnet pikidu. Didies kahua bamune beneficipsi. Hetnet hetep.
Tua emshensu. En keperu. En neberger. Shu en keperu. Dua asar nebrestau. Paut neteru. Aat ami netekert. Anetet her kikenti. Amentet. Un nefer. Abdu. Matentu. Ai. Ku. Anek arati. Estau. Seteka sekert. Aku sari nahas. Ubed center. Set emka. Def. Sit meter. Uni emtet. Hena yash em meter. Asar. Erdit endek. En ari heru. Hena her me endes. Ari heru. Aus uatepi. Ari set. Ab. Ua neter. Abu pen ha asar. Abu pen asar. Spur and heru. Arit Bert. Nahas Sa. Wajit pa neter, Asar Ari, Peru het, Aset, Abuyen Tuche. Meduje yan, Aset sam, Ujat, Setep sa her amseti, Enti amsa asar, Sa amset, Asar amset. Meduje yan, Nebet et, Hapsheta, Ari besa, her happy, Enti, Sa asar, Sa happy, Asar pu happy. Meduje yan, Net sedua ra, Semeshe hu, Ned, Ari maket en, Duamuta, en ti am sa asar, sa duamutef, asar pu duamutef. Meduje yan, circuit, in ka ke setedet, sa ru, ned, ari maket, en kwepsunef, entet, am sa asar, sa kwepsunef, asar pu kwepsunef. Yanater and Diwacheta Yanater and Diwacheta Nebuchadnezzar Je Anatet Hirt Asar Putra Maki Sake Setu Sakake
Nebuchadnezzar, Aniteji, Hurt, Asar, Putra, Magdi, Saki, Situ, Sakaki.
Nebuchadnezzar Anatet Hirt Asar Putra Makti Sake Setu Sakake
Nebuchadnezzar, Aniteji, Hurt, Asar, Putra, Magdi, Saki, Situ, Sakaki.
Nebuchadnezzar Anatet Hirt Asar Putra Makti Sake Setu Sakake
Nebuchadnezzar, Aniteji, Hurt, Asar, Putra, Magdi, Saki, Situ, Sakaki.
Nebuchadnezzar Anatet Hirt Asar Putra Makti Sake Setu Sakake
Nebuchadnezzar, Aniteji, Hurt, Asar, Putra, Magdi, Saki, Situ, Sakaki.
Ari Gensetter, Ari Duaker, Pekau Uashu, Net Net Duanet, Sefekira Sinuet,
Net net duanet sefek jerasin hues.
Net Net Duanet, Sefekira Sinuet,
Net net duanet sefek jerasin hues.
Net Net Duanet, Sefekira Sinuet.
Net net duanet sefek jerasin hues.
Net net duanet, sepelkira sinue.
Net net duanet sefek jerasin hues.
Move, move, on to,
Amon ut consul.
move, move, on to,
Amon ut consul.
move, move, on to,
Amon ut consul.
move, move, on to.
Amon ut consul.
Om Mamun Rapatan.
Om Amon Raptam.
Om Mamun Rapatan.
Om Amon Raptam.
Om Rapatan.
Om Amon Raptam.
Om Mamun Rapatan.
Om Amon Raptam.
Om Masara Seru.
Om Asara Setheru.
Om Masara Seru.
Om Asara Setheru.
Om Masara Seru.
Om Asara Setheru.
Om Sara Se Eru.
Om Asara Setheru.
Keruma keru.
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 Ase. Ase. Ase.
Ascend. Ascend. Ascend.
Ase. Ase. Ase.
Ascend. Ascend. Ascend.
Ase. Ase. Ase.
Ascend. Ascend. Ascend.
Ascend. Ascend. Ascend.
Ascend. Ascend. Ascend.
Amaringa nete apuja sene arineteru
Amawenra nepet ankujasene arineteru
Amaringa nete apuja sene arineteru
Amawenra nepet ankujasene arineteru
Amaringa nete apuja sene arineteru
Amawenra nepet ankujasene arineteru
Amaera nepe apuja sene arineteru duara
Amawenra nepe ankojasene arineteru duara.
Nuk atien keperu.
Nuk hatien keperu.
Nuk atien keperu. Nuk atien keperu.
Nuk hatien keperu.
Nuk atien keperu.
Nuk hatien keperu.
Heru. 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 Heru.
Heteru. 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 Heteru.
Heru. 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 Heru.
Heteru. 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 Heteru.
Heru. 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 Heru.
Heteru. 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 Heteru.
Duatu heru. Duatu heru.
Duatu heru. Duatu keru.
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 Nuk nebejer.
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 Nefer remtra in aton.
Nefer remtra en aton.
Nefer remtra in aton.
Nefer remtra en aton.
Nefer remtra in aton.
Nefer remtra en aton.
Nefer remtra in aton.
Nefer Remtrap en Atom.
Makeru and Ba Nebejer.
Makeru en Ba Nebejen.
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 Nuk Kua Kua.
Nuk Hua Kua.
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 Nukmat, 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 Nukmat.
Nukmaat. 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 Nukmaat.
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 Nut,
Nut.
Nut,
Nut.
Nut,
Nut.
Nut,
Nut.
Nut.
Newt.
Asar, 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 asar.
Asar, 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 asar.
Asar, 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 asa.
Pete ahu ank, jer uas, pena nefu, kepitu, embahat endijasu, sunu anhotep. Aset, ua suja heru, suja menut nebu, sen efset, efsen, asar aset etapi, suja auitu yasor, nesheshu nebu, emhu, shemu metu tau, sep nebu, neshterta, ua menti, heru kut teken, an apt, tesu, kem, ena, sefa ha ra, digit kat, ena, asar, peta keperu, medut ra, kat, nefi asar keperu. Uahai, uaka. Nuke aset, per ke nayet, ret enau seter, sa medu, en jehuti, tep maat, em pet, ta atert, aset neter, nefer, ger, pu anxeske, sda ament, sa enken, pu f enen au f, ready f nepkep, dit hetep, f her, ft ent, and f taui, uahai, uaker. Keruma keru.
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 Nerai mesra. Nerai mesra. Nerai mesra. Nerai mesra. Nuk kepra em duau. Ra emahau. Temu ami meseru.
Nuk Khepera M2O. Ra en ahau. Temu ami mashiru.
Nuk kepra em duau. Ra emahau. Temu ami meseru.
Nuk Khepera M2O. Ra en ahuf. Temu ami mashiru.
Nuk kepra em duau. Ra emahau. Temu ami meseru.
Nuk Khepera M2O. Ra en ahuf. Temu ami mashiru.
Wahai Uwaker. That letter, letter, bu, letter, Tagesseri, ziferi, letter, letter, bu, letter, tagesseri, ziferi, letter, letter, bu, letter, Jesseri, Zisheri, Nentern, 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 Jesseri, Zisheri, Uashedi, Uatefa. AEM Meta. Emma, Meta, Meta, Peace, 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 peace. Attempt, dua, attempt.
Uja, greetings everyone. Ubenefer. So we'll continue with our discourse. And today we'll do a cross-reference into one of the primary principles that were brought up last week. So recall that we're doing this panel from the Karnak temple in what is referred to as the Great Hypo style hall. For now, we are concentrating on the text above this divinity, Jehuti, Lord Jehuti. And we've completed line 1, and we spent considerable time on line 2 because of the special, well, it's all special, but the principle of the eye, which is a big topic in ancient Egyptian philosophy. And what was given was just a little of the, there's much more to it. But what you were given is sufficient for an understanding of how to understand the principle and how to apply it to yourself for spiritual progress. Now we're at line 3, which is right here. And you can see there's a crack that goes through the text. So at some junctions, part of the text is missing, and so we'll address those issues when we get there. You see here, there's a crack here, but from experience, I was able to pretty much figure out what was supposed to be here. And so we're discussing an issue that's presented in this area. This, and you'll see it again you'll see it again today. This symbol is referred to as a Shetau, and it commonly holds the name of the Purada, and it relates to the circumscribed aspect of the divine, meaning the divine form that's appearing in time and space. There are two aspects: the aspect of the divine that appears in time and space, and that's all the material forms that you perceive with your sensorial perception apparatus. And then there's the divine of the transcendental, and it's essentially one homogeneous spiritual reality. But we'll talk more about that issue later. So let's go down. Here. Recall these are some of the amulets that we spoke about last time. So we're here at KSW3. Amundra neb ursama atra satepenra merket. Hidden witnessing consciousness, essence of Creator Spirit consciousness, and who is Lord of the two lands, Upper and Lower Egypt, Kame, one who has strength in the consciousness of truth and righteousness, has been chosen by Creator Spirit consciousness. He loves spiritual things. As Amun-Ra loves spiritual things, so does Ursama Atra Satepenra. Strength established in righteousness and truth of Creator Spirit consciousness, chosen by Creator Spirit consciousness. So what's in parentheses here is what this name means. And this name is held in this symbol, which is referred to as a Shetau, commonly known as a cartouche. So this personality loves spiritual things as Amun loves spiritual things. Therefore, Amun-Ra and Ursama Atra Satepenra are the same, of the same essence. And there is no difference, there is no difference between them. In reality, they are one and the same. And here, recall the last time I did a very brief showing of, a very brief explanation of the false or the speculative claim that Akhenaten, Purda Akhenaten, was a heretic in contradiction to the Amun priesthood. And I think I'll do a full presentation on that issue. This wall is, although it's in the Hypo style hall, the portion of the hall that this panel is in is uncovered. So all of the texts are open to the elements, the heat and the wind and the grains of sand that may blow against it. So the text is worn, but you can wear it, you can figure it out. And I also go to other sources where they had earlier pictures that were done in the 1800s, so you could figure it out. And so in this area, it says Amun Ra. So here's the A. Here's the Min sound. And here's the Ra, the Sunday. So Amun Ra. Amun Ra. And the part that we're going to discuss is the Setepin Ra. What it means to be chosen. And I think this perhaps came over in Christianity as, being chosen by God and all that kind of stuff. Well, in the Abrahamic faiths. But in ancient Kemet, which is, came before, thousands of years before the Abrahamic religions, so that it could be a borrowing. This aspect of being chosen, Setepin means to be chosen, and Ra means creator spirit consciousness. So Ursama at Ra is chosen by creator spirit consciousness. And it is important to understand that this is not coming from an entity outside of yourself. Yeah, no supernatural being is coming to you and saying you are chosen because you have done this and you are better than these people or you are better than them. It is important to understand that this is a metaphysical process that occurs within the heart of any human being who has established themselves in truth of creator spirit consciousness. And what that means is the discovery of the nature of spirit consciousness through experiential means. So it's not an intellectual or a didactic research. It's a metaphysical research through metaphysical processes that are born from the spiritual disciplines that a person performs, so such as meditation, such as uttering the words of power, chanting that leads to placidity of mind, that leads to expansion in consciousness, that leads to discovery of creator spirit consciousness. And that discovery is your experience of that creator spirit consciousness. So it's something that you experience. So when I say discovery, I'm relating it to something that you were not experiencing before that you are now experiencing, but has always been the very essence of being. So you're discovering your true divine nature. And when you discover your true divine nature, there is a reciprocal process that is imputed onto your personality through your RU, your karmic basis, from that higher consciousness that you have experienced. And what that means is that your personality becomes adjusted in concomitance to be in alignment with that higher consciousness. And therefore your your chosenness is related to the demeanor of your personality, how you are as a human being, how you treat other people, the kindness of heart, the compassion of heart, the understanding of the nature of the human condition, and the understanding of the nature of self. And therefore you develop what is found in the Amdua text, what is called divine authority. You have divine authority because you have experienced an abstract spirit reality that is beyond the normal framework of the mind. So it's a non-conceptual realization, which is the very basis of your personality, your mind. And thus, chosen doesn't relate to a supernatural being giving you authority over other people. It relates to you gaining authority over yourself. So you're not controlled or ruled by negative emotional states or negative emotional conditions of mind. You're not ruled by your lower nature. You're not ruled by base desires and feelings. You have sublimated those, and therefore you have authority over them. And they don't control you. You rule your life through your higher consciousness realization. So you're essentially the royal personality. There is a special room on the ceiling of the temple of Isis, Aset in Philae, where a similar connotation is given to the Setepenra aspect. And this is from this class is done on Monday nights, Monday evenings. And that's where this translation is coming from. And that's where this text is coming from. Meduje an Berda Shenu Zen Embra. Words pertaining to great house, royal initiate, acclamation, that is enthusiastic approval by a creator spirit consciousness. So this term here, Medu J, and means words pertaining to, or words concerning, or words by. It depends upon the context in which is being used. And here you have another Shenu. You can see it a little better here. These glyphs are a little more clear. And then within the Shenu you have the Per. So this is a convention because this Per is not a name per se. This is a title. So the title is in the Shenu. So it means the circumscribed ruler, meaning the ruler who lives on the earth, who still has time and space, perception through the conscious mind. And Per is what is commonly translated to be Pharaoh, but the connotation of Pharaoh doesn't work with these mystical teachings, meaning the common connotation of Pharaoh. we're going to the text, we're looking at the hieroglyphic text, and we're translating it in accordance with the original intent of the sages that originally inscribed them. So we're looking at this from a mystical perspective. And Pera means great house or royal initiate. So these words pertain to the royal initiate, the great house. And partly what this means is that the initiate, the person who's going through this spiritual evolutionary process, is a Pera. So everyone is a Pera. And what is to happen is that you are to become a Pera of your own life and not be ruled by base, lower desires and feelings. In this term, Zen means acclamation, as in enthusiastic approval. So in other words, this personality has performed the spiritual disciplines and the metaphysics of spirit and has transformed themselves to a degree that there is an approval. Their personality is approved. And so this is a person who has transcended the normal mode of normal human existence. So they have gone beyond just sleeping, eating, sexing, desiring, feeling, living a normal human life. They have become supernormal in that they have discovered something about themselves that is transcendent of the conscious mind perception of materiality and the animal inclinations of the human body. They have discovered something about themselves that transcends the animal nature, the lower forces, the negative propensities of a human personality. And this is not done by wishful thinking or by trying to be a good person. These are gone through a spiritual transformative process born from spiritual discipline. And we have 4 primary spiritual disciplines. Meditation, which is called Ua. Wisdom teachings, which is called Rek. Devotion, which is called Uashu. And righteous action, which is called Ma'at Adi. And in there you have the meditations, the metaphysics, the posture system, the words of power system, the I am formula system. You have the Book of the Dead, you have the Book of the Dead text. So there's enthusiastic approval by Ra, Creator Spirit Consciousness. So your own inner higher consciousness approves of your spiritual transformation. And so the personality goes through a cleansing purification of the psycho-spiritual energy center system, of the psychic system, and transform themselves. And so the personality, you have to move from lower forms of spiritual practice to elite forms of spiritual practice. And in those elite forms of spiritual practice goes beyond your simple wishing or faith, or it goes to enacting the spiritual disciplines in such a way that there is a cleansing purification of the unconscious mind, which is referred to as the ab, and a reconfiguring, a reconditioning of the unconscious mind, which then changes the course of your life, essentially. From the temple of Luxor, we have depiction of Amun. So here is Amun. You can see his face. You can see the two plumes on his head. And you everywhere you go in the temples of Egypt, you see Amun, Amun, Amun everywhere. You see his name Amudra, Amunra, Amudra. So yeah, I don't know where they got the idea that Akhenaten went around and started knocking out the names of Amun. And they, but they cover it by saying that, they, after Akhenaten left, then they went back and restored, and it's a whole convoluted story. And here's his name again, Amun-Ra. So Mun Ra. And here he is. And these lines are 1, 2, 3, 4. So Meduje, DNNK, Senebneb. Meduje, DNNK, Ankwasneb. That's here. So Senebneb, Ankwasneb. DFRI Hehu M. Amundra Neb Nestutawi. So words said, this is Amun speaking, I have given to thee all health. So all health is here. Seneb Neb. I have given to thee all health. I have given to thee all flow of life power. Flow of life power, all. He gives millions of offerings to Amun, Lord of all the thrones of the two lands. And he is the royal initiate. So the royal initiate gives the offerings, and Amun reciprocates and gives all life and all flow of life power. And all life refers to the full, all health, and all health refers to the health on the three planes of the body: the physical body, the astral body, the soul. And it relates to a health in the fullness of the soul's realization of its true nature. So it gives all health. It gives a fullness of health. This is what Amun is bestowing upon the spiritual practitioner. And this goes along with the idea of being chosen. So this is an extension of that idea. So if you're chosen, you're going to be given all health. It's going to be reciprocated, reciprocal process. It shows the power of the spiritual evolutionary process, but also the idea that if you're trying to worship the transcendental supreme divine without having its standings, like the system of gods and goddesses, the system of gods and goddesses, they hold the metaphysical and supernatural powers, and so they can distribute the boons. And then you are to discover the absolute nature from which those spiritual gods and goddesses have emerged from. So Amun relates to witnessing consciousness. All life, the flow of all life power relates to vitality of your body and the vitality of your mind. As you're getting older, you shouldn't be becoming decrepit and bent over and barely able to walk. You should have a flow of life power through your body. And then the body is going to reach its natural demise. But since you have been given all health, when the body goes to its natural demise, you expand into the creative spirit consciousness nature of self. And therefore the body dies, but you attain what the term Ankh. One of the principles of Ankh is immortality. So you attain immortality through your expansion of consciousness. But you don't wait for death to happen. You have to practice now and go through the spiritual evolutionary process now, so that when death happens, it's a spontaneous, harmonious movement towards immortality, creative spirit consciousness being. And if you have all flow of life power, again, vitality of mind, being able to do cognitive things, write books or poetry or music, whatever, spiritual music. But it also relates to the capacity for the explorations of the depths of the mind through its dissolution process. So vitality of the power of mind to explore its vastness, its vast depths. Okay, so this will be it for today. And then we'll come back next week. Once again, dua for your participation, for your attendance. And dua for the devotion. And if you haven't seen the documentary yet, see the documentary and share the link with others. Try to get others, see if they're interested, get others to become enthusiastic. It's a wonderful documentary. I'm not just saying that, but looking at it from taking myself, separating and just being an objective observer and listening to the people who saw the documentary and their feedback from it, it's wonderful. So make sure you avail yourself of that. And it's also an hour and a half of healing vibrations, healing imagery, healing feelings. So you get that as well. So do it, everyone. Until we meet again. Hetep.